Hello and welcome to this week's Digital Making a Home from the Raspberry Pi Foundation. My name's Mark, this is my son Jimmy.
Hello.
And what we're going to look at this week is the theme of Let Me Entertain You. So we're going to be looking at creating applications and creating programs that will help entertain you or your friends or your family at home while we all might be getting a little bit bored at the moment. So we're going to be making an application in Scratch, aren't we, today?
Yep.
And Jimmy's going to show you the page or the project we're going to be basing our work on. So I'm just going to flip over and open up a web browser. And Jimmy's going to go to rpf, rpf.io /dm hyphen and then paint. And this is our Paintbox project. You're more than welcome. If you look down the left hand side here, you'll see that there's all the steps that you can follow to create this project. You're more than welcome to just go ahead and do that yourselves if you want to follow along using just the web browser, or you can code along with us in Scratch. So Jim's just going to demonstrate how this project works. So he clicks on the green flag and he's able to draw. He's drawing in blue there. And then he's going to change the colour and he's drawing in black. Amazing artwork there, Jimmy. Really proud of you. And he can change the pen size there. And if at any point he wants, he can erase the entire thing. There we go. Not quite worthy for the fridge, I don't think that one. Okay. All right. So we're going to make that application. We're going to make a Paintbox application. I'm going to do it in Scratch. We're going to need a starter project for this. So if you go in your web browser, you can open up a new tab. Or you can, if you're just coding along with this, you don't need to open up a new tab. You can go to rpf.io /dm hyphen paint hyphen start. And that will take you to a project that I've already created for you, which contains all the sprites and stuff you need. If you're not logged into Scratch, you're not going to be able to make this your own. So what Jimmy's going to do is he's going to quickly log into his Scratch account. So he's going to go to sign in. And type his very cool username. There we go. And he's going to type in his password. And then we should be logged in. Yeah, that's it. Good. And so now Jimmy's in his Scratch account. He's just going to click on the remix button to make this project his own. And then he can rename it if he likes as well. So once the project's remixed, he can go up to that box up there and he can just call it Paint. Cool. All right then. So in that app that Jimmy demonstrated right at the beginning, he had the ability wherever he moved his cursor, that's where the pencil went. So that's the first thing we want to do, isn't it? So how are we going to do that, Jimmy?
So we're going to start off by going down to events here. We're going to grab this when green flag clicked. We're going to bring it out. I'm going to zoom in so that people can see it. But we're going to bring it out. We're going to take it out from this panel and put it down. And now it seems pretty simple. It seems like we can just go up here to motion and grab this go to random position. And we just need to change random position to mouse pointer. And that seems like it would work, but whenever we click the green flag, it will just go up to the top left. And then we can move my mouse, but it doesn't do anything. So
it's just going to wherever, because you were clicking on the green flag, it's going up to the top left corner every time, isn't it?
Yeah. So we want it to constantly, update every second and follow wherever my mouse is. So we can do that by going down to control. And you can see here that there's a bunch of loops in control. And you know it's a loop because it has a small white arrow at the bottom that tells it to go all the way back up to the start. So I've grabbed the forever loop here, which means that it will repeat forever. And I'm just going to drag this here so the go-to mouse pointer is inside. And now when I click the green flag, it will constantly follow my mouse.
Brilliant. Okay, so he's using a forever loop, a loop that's going to run constantly throughout the program, non-stop, always running. And that sprite is always going to go to his mouse cursor. That's fantastic. Well, then, now the next thing I saw in the Paintbox app that you demonstrated was that when you were clicking the left mouse button, it started painting. So how can we do that?
So, the first thing we need to do is, if you're on Scratch 2.0, which...
I mean, some people might be on
Yeah,
Scratch
some
2.0.
people... Yeah.
And that's all in the looks menu, isn't it, for the pen tool?
Yeah, you can find a bunch of pen blocks in this looks menu. Might be in a different menu. But we're in Scratch 3.0 and we can't find pen anywhere. So what we can do is we can go down to the bottom left, and if we hover over this, which is 2 blocks with a plus, it will say add extension. When we click on this, it brings up a bunch of extensions for us to use. And what we want to go ahead and use is pen. So when I click on pen, we've now got this new pen tab, and we can use this pen extension to do a bunch of stuff with our pen.
Brilliant. So I want it to be if I click the left mouse button, I wanted to start drawing. So how can I get that to happen?
So we can go over here to control, and we can grab this if else block, and we're just going to put this underneath the go to mouse pointer. And now we can go over to sensing, it's this light blue one, and we can find underneath key pressed, we can find this mouse down, which means whenever we hold down the left mouse button, it will say what it will do whatever in the
that's space. Yeah. That's space underneath. Yeah.
Yeah. So what we can do is we can then go to pen and we can say put the pen down whenever the left mouse is down.
Brilliant. Can we demonstrate that?
So now when I click the green flag, it will follow, and now if I press down the left mouse, it starts drawing.
Brilliant. And what happens if you let go of the left mouse?
It keeps drawing, so you can keep moving it around.
Right. So we want it so at the moment it's doing it whenever you click down, it's automatically putting the pen down. Whenever your mouse is down, yeah?
Yeah.
But we want it so that if you take your hand off the left mouse button, so if you unclick it, we want the pen to move up, don't we?
Yeah. So what we can say is if the mouse isn't down, then do something here. That's why we're using an if else loop or command block. So what we can say is we can go back to pen and we can say to lift the pen up if the mouse isn't down. So now we can begin, and when I hold down the left mouse, it will move wherever I want. I can let go, and I can now move around the screen freely.
Cool. You've made a bit of a mess over there, though.
Yeah.
So how are we going to clear that up?
So in the pen tab, we have this erase all, and we could place this down. We could say when green flag clicked or do whatever. But an easier way to just erase all immediately is here at the side. We can just click it, and all the pen is gone.
It's all gone. So all the blocks down on the left-hand side, if you just click them, then whatever action they are programmed to do will just happen automatically. Okay, that's fantastic. So we've got our pencil. We can do some drawing now, yeah?
Yeah.
So now let's add that functionality to be able to change the colour, because that's what I saw on that app that you were using earlier. You could change the colour. So how do we go about doing that? What do we need for changing the colour?
So in the bottom right of the screen, we have this choose a backdrop and choose a sprite, and we can use both of these. But right now we want to use choose a sprite because we're not doing anything with the background. Not now. And we can go, there's 4 options here. There's upload a sprite, in which you can take images from your computer and upload them to Scratch. There's surprise, where it will give you just a random sprite from choose a sprite. And then obviously, there's choose a sprite where you can choose a bunch of different sprites that have already been made. But we want to go ahead and paint one. So when you hit paint, it will create a new sprite, and it will automatically put you in the costumes tab where you can make stuff. So what we want to make is a button that will change our colour. So I'm going to go to this square here. I'm going to press the square symbol. And I could just draw freely a square and try and get it right. I'm not going to do that. Instead, when I start drawing, I'm going to hold down Shift. And you can see, if I try to turn it into a rectangle, it will just stay as a square.
Brilliant.
So now I just finish that off, and we have this button here.
Cool. All right then. So we've got our square. So that when we click on that, we want to change the colour to purple, don't we?
Yeah.
So how do we do that?
So in code, we can say whenever the sprite clicked, which means when you click the sprite, it will follow on with whatever code, and we want it to broadcast a message. And I'm going to create a new message. I'm going to call this one purple. And yeah, it will automatically broadcast purple now.
And broadcasts are like a message that gets sent to all sprites. So any sprite that's sitting there will be able to almost be listening out all the time. When it receives that message, it can then trigger a bunch of code to happen. So we've got, when you click on that purple square, it's going to broadcast message. So what's the pencil going to do? What's going to happen to the pencil when that happens?
So now on the pencil, we can create a new piece of code, and we're going to say when the pencil hears the message, it will change the color to purple. So in the events tab, we can grab this when I receive purple, and we can now go to pen, and we're going to grab this set pen color too, and I can just click on the color, and I can use the eyedropper, and I can select purple here. And you could mess around with this. I'm not going to, because I want it to be exactly the same color as on the square. But now I can begin drawing, and it will be blue, and then I click on purple, and it will start being purple.
Brilliant. Okay, but your pencil still looks blue.
Right. So to change this, we can go into costumes. We can go into costumes, and we can duplicate pencil A. I'm going to rename this blue. I'm going to name this one purple, even though it's still blue. I'm still going to name it purple, because in a minute we're going to make the pencil purple. So to make the pencil purple, we go to this fill, and to select the same colour, it's already selected for me, but to select the same colour, I'd go here, and if I change this to just orange or something, I can go here, I can go into sprite 1, I can pick the eyedropper, I can take it from this purple here, and when I go onto pencil again, it'll be the same.
So Scratch is automatically remembering the last fill you had. So if you want to flip between sprites and then use that colour picker, you can pick any colour that's on any sprite, and it will remember that for the next sprite you flick onto. So good. So we've got our purple fill set up. So should we colour our pencil purple?
So instead of just using the brush and colouring it all in, we're going to use this paint bucket symbol, which will fill entire chunks. So we're going to go ahead now and hover over the blue, and you can see it goes purple, and all we need to do is left click, and it'll automatically be set to purple.
Brilliant. All right, then. So if I just take the mouse for a second though, and I go into my blue pencil, and I go to code, and then I click my green flag, I'm colouring blue. Am I colouring purple at the moment?
Colouring purple.
But when I click on that purple, I've still got a blue pen. So
to change this, we can say when I receive purple, so whenever this is clicked, and we can go into looks here, and we can say switch costume to purple. So
Brilliant.
now, if we begin, we can draw in purple, and I'll just quickly set that to blue actually. So it starts off as blue, and we can draw, and then whenever we click this, it'll change it up to purple.
brilliant. Right, but now I need a way to get back to blue. So how am I going to do that?
So we're going to create a new sprite that will be exactly the same as this one, but blue. So to create a sprite that's exactly the same, we right-click on sprite 1, and we can press duplicate, and it'll create just exactly the same sprite, but renamed to sprite 2. And I'm just going to put this above sprite 1. And now we can go into costumes, and to set it to blue, we're going to do the technique that we used earlier.
So you're going to click on the sprite, the pencil sprite, go and check out its colour.
Go to blue, use the eyedropper tool again, hover over the blue part. Then we have the blue as our fill, and now we can go back to sprite 2, and blue is the fill, so now we can hover over the purple part and it will become blue.
Excellent. All right then, so we've got our blue thing. Now we want the pencil to start drawing in blue, don't we, when it goes back to blue?
So we're going to tell it to broadcast a new message, and instead of being purple this time, we're going to rename it to blue. We're not going to rename purple, but we're going to create a new message with the new message button. That's going to be blue. And now we just want this when I receive purple to be exactly the same, but blue. So we can right click on this, and we can press duplicate again. And instead of duplicating a sprite, we've duplicated a command, we've duplicated some code. And now we can say when I receive blue, set the pen colour, and we can use the eyedropper again, and we can go over to blue, switch costume to blue.
Alright, let's test this out.
So I can press blue, and I'll start drawing in blue. And
Excellent.
when I press purple, I start drawing in, if it's going to work, I start drawing in purple.
Excellent. Brilliant. Now, if you wanted, you could now pause this video and you could duplicate what Jimmy's just done over and over again to get a whole load of different colours. So you can have red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet, whatever you wanted. You can have all different colours. And do you just want to quickly click on some of your sprites? Click on that purple sprite, Jimmy. So, and just show them how you can resize by taking that size down to, say, 50%.
So this size is already set to 100%. I can make it smaller by saying that to a lower number, like 50.
Just disappeared. Go back up to 100. Let's go down to...
I'll put it there, and then I can set it to 50. And there we go. But I'm going to keep it at 100. And if I wanted to, I could double it, but we're not going to. We're going to leave it at 100 for now.
So you could have a whole row of little squares down at the bottom of your screen with all the different colours for all the different pencil colours that you wanted to use. Okay, so we've got that still got that mess over on the right hand side though now, yeah. And I know that you know the really cool trick of being able to hit that erase all to do it. But if I was to give this to like your little nephew, if I was to give it to Noah to do, he wouldn't know how to erase everything. So can we create a sprite or something that will enable him to erase all the drawing that he'd done?
Yeah. So this time we're going to go back to choose a sprite. And instead of painting, what we're going to make is a red cross that will clear everything on the screen. Now I'm not very good at painting. I'm only good at drawing squares. So we're actually going to go to choose a sprite. And we could find cross, but I don't think they've got it here. So instead, I'm going to go over to letters. And I'm going to use X, and there's a bunch of different X's we can use. But I'm going to go ahead and use block X as the first one. And I've got block X. I'm going to put that wherever I want.
Okay, but now... So I like to use Windows and macOS quite a lot, and normally the X or the close symbol is red. So how do we change that to being... Yeah, just like that. How do we change that to being red rather than orange?
So we can go back into costumes here. And we can use this fill bucket again. And red's really easy when trying to find it, unlike green, which is in the middle, and blue. Red is either 0, so it's right at the start, or 100, where it's right at the end.
Cool.
So we're going to use 100. I'm going to make the saturation and the brightness at full too. And then we're just going to hover over the orange part, click it, and I've got a red X.
Brilliant. Okay then, so now when I click on that red X, I want it to remove everything from the screen. So how do I do that?
So we can go back into code, and we can go into events here, and we can say when the sprite clicks, so when you click on the sprite, we can go into pen, and we can say erase all.
Okay. Show me that works.
Now when I've started drawing in purple, I can switch up to blue, and oh no, I've made a mistake, but I can just press this cross, and it'll get rid of everything, and I can redo it.
Fantastic. Now then. So we've got a basic painting app, and if you've got lots of different colours and all the rest of it, you've got now the ability to draw whatever you like. But what I've included in this project is a few different backdrops that you can do some colouring in on. So do you want to show them the different backdrops that are available for them to have a look at?
Yep. So, at the very right, we have this thing called a stage, and this is where all the backdrops are. So we can go ahead and select backdrop 1 on the stage. And now if we go, it has a bit of code. It's slightly more limited, it looks. But we can go into backdrops, and this is just like costumes, in that it has a bunch of different backdrops we can select.
Cool. So let's have a look at backdrop 1. Let's have a look at the Raspberry Pi, and then what's the next one? We've got a robot tower, and the next one, cool, an underwater scene. Let's colour in the Raspberry Pi one. If we have a look at the Raspberry Pi one, right. And now let's do some colouring. If I wanted to colour that in, that's going to take you a very long time to do. So it would be easy if my pen, like the pen strokes were a bit thicker. So how could I make the pen strokes a little bit thicker on this, do you think?
Well, for some parts it would be really great if you had a thin, like the pens.
Yeah.
But for the backdrop, you do need a thicker pen. So what we can do is we can go into pencil, on the sprite pencil, and we can go back to code here. And now we can go down to this variables tab, and we can hit make a variable, and I'm going to name my variable pen width, and I'm going to hit OK. And now at the top here we've got a pen width, And to control this, we could do it with code, but we just want to be able to control it with a slider. So what we're going to do is we're going to right click on this, and there's normal readout, which is what it's on now. There's large readout, which is just the number. But we want slider, and now we can change the variable's number.
So I should probably explain that a variable in programming is it's a thing that has a value attached to it. So my mate Mark really likes to talk about it being like a jar, and you put a label on the jar, and then you can put things into the jar. So Jimmy's created a jar with pen width written on it, and then he can put things into that jar. And in this case, he's putting a number between 0 and 100. Yeah. So we say a variable has a label, and it has a value. It has a name, and it has something that's attached to. So the current label for this one is pen width, and its current value is any number between 0 and 100. But I think a pen width 100 is way too much.
Yeah,
How can we reduce that range that this variable is allowed to be?
So if you right click on the slider, you can set it back to normal, but we don't want to do that. We want to keep it as a slider. But underneath slider here is change slider range, and when we click on this, it opens up this new window for us to use, and we can change the minimum value. I'm going to keep it at 0. And we can change the maximum value, and 100's a bit too big. I'm going to go down to 30 probably. Brilliant. And hit OK.
Okay, so how can that variable now actually affect the width of my pen strokes?
So in the original Forever Loop that we made at the start for the pen sprite, we can go ahead and we can grab a set pen size 2, and you can put this. I'm just going to quickly stop this. You can put this either underneath go to mouse pointer or above it. I'm going to put it underneath. And now we want this to change to whatever the variable is. So to do that, we can grab the pen width from make a variable. We can grab that. And because this part is circular, the pen width, which is also circular, will fit in. It's the same how that part's like a different shape, and mouse down is the same shape, so that will fit in.
Brilliant. Okay, so let's have a look at that.
So now I can start drawing, and it's on 30 right now, so it's quite big.
That's amazing colouring in there.
Thank you. I'm staying within the lines very well. But I can also change the size now to like 9, and it'll be a bit thinner, and I can change it all the way down to 1 and 0, where it will be even thinner than 1, and then we can press this cross, and we can get rid of all of it.
Brilliant.
So yeah.
You stick to programming.
Yeah, no.
Okay.
Never art.
What else do you think we could do to this project then? What else could we add in here?
Well, if someone wanted to try colouring in the different backdrops, we could add in a button that changes the backdrop.
Alright, let's do that then.
So to do that, we go down to choose a sprite, and you could get a button picture and upload it. If you wanted the button to be something random, you could use the surprise, paint your own, but I'm not very good at painting, so I'm going to use choose a sprite again. And we can find any button, we can find any shape we want. I'm just going to use button 1, it's very simple, I like it. And I'll put this in next to my cross, or actually no, I'm going to put it up here. And now we want to say whenever someone clicks on the button to go to the next background. So what we can do is on the button sprite, make sure you've selected that. We can go to events, and we can say when this sprite clicked, and we can go into looks here, and we can say go to the next backdrop. So now we can begin colouring in. So I can colour in the background, but if I don't like this picture, I can switch and get rid of everything I've already done, and I can start colouring in again.
Brilliant.
So yeah.
Absolutely perfect. Thank you very much, Jimmy. So that's how you can make your very own colouring in app using Scratch. So have fun with that and play around. What I'd really like you to do is I would like you to either show us what colouring in you've done or show us what extra additions you've made to your project. So you might want to, for instance, add in some extra backdrops that you could download off the internet, some extra colouring in backdrops that you could have. You could add in a load more colours. You could maybe make a pen that rubs stuff out, that rubs out the painting that you've done. There's lots of things that you could do with this project. I really, really like it if you could share either your artwork with us, because I love looking at coloured in pictures, or if you could share your programming with us. If you want to share your programming with us, I'm just going to get Jimmy to show you what to do here. So in Scratch, if you click on the share button, it will take you to your home page for your project, and then down on the bottom right there's a copy link button. You can click that and that will give you the URL for your own Scratch project. So you can copy that and you can paste it into our form on rpf.io/home. Okay, so you can share all your artwork with us there, or you can share your Scratch projects with us there as well. That's it from me and Jimmy this week. So have fun, try and keep entertained, try and enjoy yourself a little bit, try and amuse your friends, your family, your buddies, and we will see you all next week. So bye bye everyone.
Bye.